Where are the low-value men?
The hijacker's passport was found blocks from the World Trade Center crash site. You can believe that. You can believe that. You can believe that.
Contracted COVID, but says with a mixture of medicines, including the controversial horse dewormer that has poisoned hundreds of people nationwide, he's now recovered.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
From the headlines to the whisper start. Low value mail, low value mail at 9 o'clock. Where truth and fiction take a walk.
Why don't you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon? You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
Our stories are.
Everybody rejoice. Welcome back. It is an all-new episode of Low Value Mail on this Monday, February 2nd, 2026, the year of our Lord. Welcome back. What a bounty we have today. By the way, shout out to me, shout out to yourselves if you somehow avoided being in the Epstein Files. Probably some of you, it's funny, some of you are probably quite relieved. You go, whew, dodged one. Comedians, though, if we didn't make it in, we're just like, what am I, just a loser? Basically. As always, before we get started, if you want to support the show, you can like the stream, share with a friend, leave a comment, follow over on Spotify, or if you would like to join the real fun, patreon.com/lowvaluemail, MAIL, or become a channel member. Also, I'm going to try something new with the Patreon. I've been racking my tiny brain on what to do with the Patreon for some added content, and nothing I've done seems to quite be a good fit. So we're going to try something new. I'm going to start doing a weekly episode starting next week where I listen to voicemails, answer questions, give advice, anything really. My main thing is because I was doing an episode before where I was it was an extension of this intro, but it was just way too much time and I don't have that much time to do that. So, if that's something you're interested in, if you're maybe too nervous to call into the show or you don't want to, just leave a voicemail. You can call the 800 number 24/7, 365 days a year. Leave a voicemail. Maybe your voicemail will be featured on the Patreon episode, which will be starting next week. It'll be completely confidential, so call in and we'll see if this is something worth doing moving forward, okay? Also, The Bathhouse, we'll have a new episode of The Bathhouse tomorrow night. It probably only has 2 episodes left. I mentioned a couple weeks ago that if you wanted to save The Bathhouse, you can do so. There's a YouTube membership tier. It's $2.99 a month. Save The Bathhouse. About 30 of you signed up for it. Nowhere near enough for me to continue doing that show. So anyways, if you want to save The Bathhouse, do so. If not, that's what it is. That's what it do. All right. Let's get into it. I'm sure a lot of you have a lot you want to call in about. The phone lines will be open very shortly. So what a motherload we got with the Epstein Files, huh? We hit the motherload. Or did we? I don't know. Has one person gone to jail? Is one person going to jail? One. Who's not Ghislaine Maxwell or Jeffrey Epstein. One. Lord Mandelson resigned today for giving Epstein insider info about a £500 billion UK bailout in 2010. Is that what you patriots were hoping for? Lord Mandelson? Who the fuck is Lord Mandelson? Some member of parliament in the UK. Who gives a shit? If people do end up going to jail over this, which maybe I'm a jaded man. I don't know. If people do end up going to jail over this, which I'm probably doubtful will happen at this point. I don't know how you guys are feeling. Again, you can call in, you can let me know. But if people go to jail over this, if they do, I guess the question is, why weren't they charged before? Has the DOJ not been sitting on these files for 5 years? Really? I mean, they almost at this point can't prosecute anyone to at least try and maintain a veneer of some legitimacy. I suppose they could say, we're prosecuting because it was it was the Democrats who were so crooked. They didn't want their friends to be, exposed in the Epstein Files, but we're going to do it. I suppose that's possible, but I'm not holding my breath on this one. I will say, I mean, look, I would love it if, this forced release caused people to go to jail now. That would be great. But I don't know if it will. Maybe Bill Gates gets popped for slipping chlamydia pills in his wife's drink because he banged a Russian hooker raw. Maybe. Is that even a crime? Is it a crime to slip antibiotics in someone's drink? Probably a misdemeanor. I don't know if that's a felony. Is Bill Gates going to jail? I don't think so. I don't. To be honest, I am kind of, because originally what they said, what they'd been saying, Pam Bondi, everybody really, was like, we're not releasing these files. I mean, at one point it was like, there's none left. Remember they had a binder? They go, this is it. And then now it's 3.5 million pages. Whole lot more than a single binder. But originally what they were saying is they go, they were saying we don't want to re-traumatize the victims, which they did a pretty shitty job of, to be honest, because when they were doing all the redactions, I believe they had to remove a bunch of documents from the DOJ website today because there's a bunch of people in there who are like, I've never publicly come forward. I was a minor at the time. I've never publicly come forward and said I was involved with this stuff, and you put my name on this, probably the most popular website in the fucking world right now. Right? But like the point that they initially said with all this stuff was that it would destroy people's reputations and not lead to any convictions. And I'm honestly kind of buying that at this point. It seems they're right. And while, look, the reputation destruction part, that's fun. It's a fun time. Is it a shocking revelation? I don't think so. I'm certainly not shocked at some of these names. Some of them, I guess, a little more shocking than others, but for the most part, not super shocked. The guy was friends with everybody. For example, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. There was an audio recording of a phone call between the two of them. Supposed to be some big revelation of Epstein essentially coaching Barak in how to turn his political career into a bunch of high-paying, no-show chairman of the board or board seats or whatever. Which, I don't know about you, but I was under the impression we all understood that this is how this stuff works. Everybody knows the deal with this shit, right? That's always been partially the allure of being a politician or the president, especially the president. I mean, obviously it's, the most high power position in the world, but kind of the deal is once you're out of office, you make $300,000 a year. Once you're out of office, you get to show up and do some lighthearted Q&As at Goldman Sachs at like a luncheon for $500K a pop. And you do a few of these a week. And it's fucking easy money. You don't have to do shit. And that's just part of the deal. This is like, there's a reason why people serve in public office and then immediately go work in the private sector. That's how you actually get paid in this system. So for people to be like, what a bombshell. Ehud Barak, who probably was making a couple $100,000 as the prime minister of Israel, is trying to actually get paid at the age of 70. Like, I don't even know what we're talking about here. By the way, I'd like to give a shout out to fellow comedian Nick DiPaolo. Not sure how deep many of you have got with the Epstein Files, but Jeffrey Epstein, big comedy fan. I don't know if you guys knew that. Big comedy guy. Really, had it not been for some nosy reporters in 2017, 2018, I could have been going to parties at the guy's house right now. Do you understand that? The guy, I could have been hanging out with him at the Comedy Cellar. The guy was a big comedy fan. Here's an email. This is from Nick DiPaolo to Jeffrey E. May 9th, 2015. Jeffrey Epstein writes, thanks for coming last night. Woody Allen, and I both had a great time. If okay with you, I will contact you on my return to New York. Nick DiPaolo responds, Jeffrey, thanks for a great time last night. It was a real kick meeting you and Woody, ! The house and meal were most impressive. Give me a little time to process that last part. As you know, you are a bit of a controversial guy. I mean, no offense by that at all. LOL. Thanks, Nick. Nick DiPaolo. Now, Nick DiPaolo in 2015 is not the same guy he is today, right? But the fact that Nick DiPaolo was like a little too spicy for me, Jeffrey Epstein, I'm going to have to think about that. Appreciate the invite. The hors d'oeuvres were lovely, but maybe this is a one-time deal. I don't know if any of you guys know Bobby Slayton. Bobby Slayton, the pit bull of comedy. Probably you real comedy fans know who he is. He was pretty popular in the 90s, not like household name or anything, but he was like a big, like, you know, touring club comedian. He was on TV all the time, Just for Laughs, all that stuff. He's in the Epstein Files like 2,500 times. He was really good friends with Jeffrey Epstein, maybe his best friend in comedy. You could go look up Bobby Slayton. I don't want to spoil the fun, but Bobby Slayton, the pit bull of comedy, and Jeffrey Epstein, the pit bull of pedophilia, like this, the two of them. Real good friends. There's this 4chan post that has been making the rounds. I'm sure you've seen it. It's from 2019. I don't know if this was meant to come out. I think the timestamp on it is 2:24 p.m. So I imagine this was released after Jeffrey Epstein died, allegedly. But this has been making the rounds today. It says, not saying anything after this. Please do not try to dox me. But last night after 4:15 a.m. count, they took him medical in a wheelchair, front cuffed, but not one triage nurse said they spoke to him. Next thing we know, a trip van shows up. We do not do releases on the weekends unless a judge orders it. Next thing we know, he's put in a single man cell and hangs himself. Here's the thing. Excuse me. The trip van did not sign in and we did not record the plate number. And a guy in a green dress military outfit was in the back of the van, according to the tower guy who let him through the gate. You guys, I am shaking right now, but I think they switched him out. Jeffrey lives, everybody, if you were to believe this. Jeffrey lives. There's this really viral tweet that's going around because I guess this piece of paper was in a PDF with some other ones of some guard, but then people are like, it's two different people because people are like, this is the guy, and then seems like it's been debunked. Assuming you believe this to be true, let's just say you believe this account to be true. They switched him out. He's a government asset, intelligence asset. You're telling me they swapped Epstein out of the prison and the guy doing it was just dressed in his military gear? No civilian clothes, no disguise. Just, it's like a fucking general shows up and he goes, I want them to know I'm a general. That's removing Jeffrey Epstein from the prison right now. Apparently multiple people saw this, or at least the person in the guard tower saw this. No disguise. Or maybe he was not in the military and this is the point, is to throw us off the scent. Because now we're like, oh, a military guy. When in fact it was maybe someone else not involved in the military. Doesn't pass the sniff test for me, if you will. Also, I will say that, and look, they dropped like millions of pages of this. I'm sure some of you have gone into this way more than I have. I haven't had a chance to look at too much of this besides, what's going around. I did a little perusing, but you only have so much time. I'm a busy guy. The The idea that this Jeffrey Epstein is supposed to be some kind of high-level spy, and he's just using regular Gmail, I'm sorry, that is fucking weird, okay? That is not some specifically secure form of communication if you are a spy. Like, there's a million other things you could do that would be much more, like, you don't have a proton mail or, I don't know, anything, Signal. I don't know if Signal existed back then or, you know, whatever there was before Signal. I think there's this thing called Wicker. None of this stuff. You just use regular Gmail to all your communications. I don't know. It's fishy. I'm going to open the phone lines right now. I'd like to know what you think about this, what your thoughts are. Has anything here changed your mind? Anything of the sort? I don't know. Also, I set up a super chat goal. If we hit it, we'll do some extra time. If not, we're just going to go to 9 o'clock. Here was something interesting. This was maybe arguably one of the more interesting things that came up that I've seen so far. This is from Jeffrey Epstein. Doesn't say to whom it was to. It's redacted. Subject, he was passed away. And it reads, Robert Maxwell, famously the father of Ghislaine Maxwell, was in MI6, Mossad, all this stuff. It says Robert Maxwell threatened Mossad. He told them that unless they gave him 400 million pounds to save his crumbling empire, he would expose all he had done for them. In that time, he had free access to Margaret Thatcher's Downing Street, Ronald Reagan's White House, to the Kremlin, and to the corridors of power throughout Europe. Maxwell passed on all the secrets he learned to Mossad in Tel Aviv. In turn, they tolerated his excesses, vanities, and insatiable appetite for a luxurious lifestyle and women. He told his controllers who they should target and how they should do it. He appointed himself as Israel's unofficial ambassador to the Soviet bloc. It's pretty interesting considering I believe Robert Maxwell had an Israeli state funeral that they give to, you know, presidents, prime ministers, all that stuff. So that's interesting. Again, weird that this is just in Gmail. I don't know if this is just me. That seems so bizarre to me that they just throw this in a fucking just normal Gmail. Like, I don't even think two-factor authentication existed when this was happening. When was this? 2018. Yeah, okay. Two-factor authentication was happening. But Jeffrey Epstein seemed like a bit of a technological Luddite. I mean, I'm sure maybe he had some whole back channel communication stuff, and maybe this is all just breadcrumbs to throw us off the real scent. Possible. I don't know. Here's another thing. He had people, this guy, this was kind of more funny. Someone sent this to him, Ronald Weiser, who is, I believe, an ambassador to somewhere, I think somewhere like Slovakia or something, U.S. ambassador. This is Thursday, 29th of November, 2018. Forward from a website called Veterans Today. The Mossad connections, Trump, Epstein, Clinton, exposed murder, child sex abuse. So Epstein was reading this stuff. He was getting it sent to him, like all these crazy, salacious blogs and, you know, conspiracies. He was actually consuming these, which is, I guess, it's just interesting to think, you know, how much he was aware of this stuff. But he was, you know, I don't know if you read the article, but people were sending them to him, being like, hey, this is what they're saying about you, just FYI. I believe, was it this one? No. There's been so many. Because there was some other thing that I saw where something about some woman being abused and Epstein basically saying like, oh, if we're going to sue over anything, we should sue over this one, essentially. I can't find it. I had it somewhere, but essentially saying like this is a defamation. Here's what I do think. And again, feel free to disagree with me. Feel free to call in. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. If I've missed anything, which I'm sure I have. I'm sure there's a lot of juicy pieces of gossip. This is one of the sloppiest conspiracies that's ever happened. Maybe in the history of conspiracies, right? This is very sloppy. Just the fact that it's happening all over Gmail, all these people getting roped into this shit, you know, Peter Attia and all these people. My thoughts here is that if this is in fact true, like that this was a real conspiracy, that it was just sloppy, but this is real, you know, that there's some sort of cabal of powerful people running this country, you know, essentially the premise of this whole thing, the ritualistic sex trafficking, all that, which again, to a degree, some of that's probably true. But if this is all true, something huge is about to happen. That's kind of my feeling on this. Something massive is about to happen, right? Because they don't want all of us talking about this. This is the last thing they want, is just the front page of every news website, all anybody's talking about on Twitter, all anybody's talking about everywhere, group chats everywhere. Every person going through every file, they don't want this. Notice how the Minneapolis shooting, nobody's talking about that anymore because the Epstein Files dropped. And now that's old news, and we're on to this one. So they need something really big. That would be something to honestly, like, I don't know what timeline I can put on this. 3 to 5 days. If in the next 3 to 5 days, something massive happens where we are just not talking about this anymore, like maybe invading Greenland and Canada at the same time, maybe a nuke dropping somewhere, something like that, I'll be like, oh, they're really up to something. Now the roaches are scrambling. But I don't know. I don't know if it's any of you. I can't get over how sloppy so much of this is. I know some, or at least knew some like small time weed dealers who were way more cautious with their communications and messages than Epstein was, who is purportedly to be this high level spy. And I mean, at least we can say now, some people have switched from Epstein didn't kill himself to Epstein is actually alive. So that's a fun new twist. But anyways, I'm sure I've missed a lot of stuff. If I have, call in. If you disagree with me, call in. If you agree with me, call in. It's all good. All right, we're going to go to the calls. Before I do, again, just please make a like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. And if you're listening on Spotify, hit the follow. And again, if you want to help the show, patreon.com/lowvaluemail, MAIL. And then again, if you want to see me live, I have a bunch of stand-up dates coming up. You can find those out on my website, dannycomedy.com. Drew Huntley says, is the Rizzler in the files or not? I didn't see the Rizzler, but they have a handy little search tool where you can just go check it out. All right, let's go to the phone lines, and they are open, 1-888-949-2969. Make sure to call in. Let's have a chat. We're going to go to Jim first up. Jimbo. Jim is not picking up. All right. No Jim. That's great. Good way to start this off. Please unmute yourself. All right, let's go to Dylan. We'll get to Jim next if he figures it out. Dylan. Oh, there's Jim. There's Jim. Okay. Jim, are you there?
Yeah, sorry. This is my first time calling in.
It's all good, Jim. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Very well. I'm very tired, but I'm very well. Oops.
So I know you're, this is my first time listening to this show. I'm more frequent viewer of your other shows.
Cool. So what's up, Jim? What do you want to talk about? What are your thoughts on this whole Epstein?
I wanted to talk about the Epstein file, and are you familiar with the NASCAR connection?
No, let's hear the NASCAR connection. That's interesting.
I know you're a sports guy. I'm not sure if you follow NASCAR at all.
I'm not a big NASCAR guy. Who's the best driver of all time? Are you a big NASCAR guy?
Not a big guy, but I guess probably Petty or Earnhardt.
Petty or Earnhardt. I always find it funny when people pick Earnhardt just because he died in a car crash. And he can still somehow be number one. But yeah, anyways, go ahead. Let's hear this NASCAR tie-in. This is first time hearing of it.
So are you familiar with the Epstein, how there was the 4 main recruiters for him? I don't remember their names, but the 4 women.
I know them from Nick Bryant, actually, who Michael Tracy called a massive charlatan. And obviously, I believe Michael Tracy has been radio silent the last 3 days. I don't think he's tweeted, which is crazy.
So
but yeah, Nick Bryant said there was these 4 women. Yeah.
So there's the 4 women. One of them is actually the ex-wife at the time, was married to a NASCAR driver by the name of Brian Vickers.
Okay,
So
I know
if
the
you
name.
search the Epstein Files, his name pops up, I believe, over 50 times.
Okay.
And he was a prominent NASCAR driver that was actually married to one of the 4 women at the time. And there's, I believe, a few poems or stories or jokes he was in correspondence with Epstein about. And I believe they talked about sponsorship and other things in a few of the emails.
Interesting.
About a potential sponsorship for his car.
So that's the thing is like, he was a real, like, I go back to like, the comedy thing and back to what I said earlier, which is being in these files is not, and I think a lot of people do view this as if you're in these files, like this is probably, you're guilty of something, but like there's lots of people's names who come up who probably, Luis Gomez's name comes up, Jay Okerson. Granted, they were on a poster for the Comedy Cellar, but like I doubt, anybody's going to be saying Nick DiPaolo is doing bad shit. But is there anything like more linked to Brian Vickers?
I guess just the fact that he happened to be married to, I believe, about a decade to one of the 4 women.
To one of the women who was procuring.
Yes, Sarah.
Well, I see here a check from Brian Vickers for $36,000 paid to the order of Brian Vickers from Requirio Scientia. So Epstein was paying Brian Vickers. Interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It's again, I haven't. I won't be able to like go through this right now. I see some emails from them. Is there anything other than that connection? Obviously, the weird thing, and this is what Nick Bryant said, which is weird, is that they know who these 4 women are, they know where they are, and they choose not to charge them with anything.
I just thought it was fairly interesting since one of the 4 women, being married to a professional athlete, it doesn't really seem to be a good way of hiding.
Right. Yeah. That's probably true. I do wonder if Brian Vickers is sweating right now.
I'm not sure. I did see Russell Wilson was in there, but that again seems.
Yeah, Russell Wilson was trying to buy his jet. That was a very innocent
explanation.
Yeah, well, Russell Wilson was trying to buy one of his jets.
One where there wasn't any wrongdoing. It just happened to be, kind of swept up.
Yeah, but Epstein was paying Brian Vickers like a bunch of money. That is kind of interesting that they're like cutting him a check for $36,000. That is somewhat interesting. I'm curious what that would be for. Probably never find out. And what was the other thing you wanted to talk about?
That was it. I just thought the connection to sports was a bit interesting, and kind of interesting how the 4 women, I'd heard about them briefly, but they really don't seem to be in hiding, or they seem to be still out and about fairly prominently.
Yeah, that is the oddest thing, and Nick Bryant said that multiple times, was like, they want to find these people who committed crimes, like just go after these women, they'll roll over. And for whatever reason, they don't. But now we have all these documents, which again, I don't like. I haven't read anything where I've probably read hundreds of them at this point. None of them were like, that specifically seems like a crime that could be prosecuted. At least that's kind of my feeling on it. All right, man. Thanks for calling in.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Take care. All right, that was Jim. All right, phone lines are open, 1-888-949-2969. Let's go to Jason. Jason, are you there?
Hey, what's up, Danny?
Hey, what's happening?
I am here. Yeah, so I guess everybody is calling in about Epstein this week. Just 'cause of the timing
Big story.
and everything. I was
Big story.
I was actually just calling back because I was on hold when the stream crashed last week.
Oh shit! Yeah, that sucked. I don't know what the fuck happened there. In the future, everybody. By the way, thank you for bringing that up because stream crashed last week, but it was just YouTube that crashed. If that happens in the future, we will be heading on over to Rumble to watch the rest of the show. I'll at least be finishing the show there so that I have a complete show so the people who are listeners of the show can listen to the whole show because, it just, for whatever reason, it only crashed on YouTube. I didn't realize it only crashed on YouTube because that's never happened before. Usually it always it crashes everywhere. So this was a first. So anyways, just a note to make if that happens. There's a chance that you can go over to Rumble.
Right on. Well, talking to your producer just now, apparently it was Pablo's fault because he was criticizing like the tech industry.
Yeah, it was Pablo's fault. Literally the moment I pick up the phone, it could have been Slav's fault. Slav was, I believe, the previous caller. It's hard to say. I didn't get any notification though. I was actually kind of sweating that I was going to get a strike. And that's why it happened. Where like, cause it used to be like that during COVID where they would just nuke your stream midstream. And then you'd open your YouTube dashboard and you just like have a strike waiting for you. So I was kind of sweating on that, but that's not what happened. So I have no clue. Maybe it was just some glitch.
Well, when I called last week, I honestly didn't have anything particular to talk about, but you had said, all right, we've got an hour left and only 3 callers, so call in. And I thought, well, I'll call in and think of something.
Sure.
And while I was waiting, Slav started talking about like pilots being at higher risk of cancer.
Okay.
You were saying, surely, well, I'm a pilot, so not only
there we go.
Have I not only have I been a pilot for 15 years because I'm a pilot, I know a ton of other pilots.
And do any of them have cancer?
Not that I'm aware of. Like I think I've worked with one guy that has passed away with from cancer after I like lost touch with him, just heard from other guys, but you know, I'd say that that's at or below the average of just people you know in your life.
I mean, it would be, every pilot would know, like, we're doing such a dangerous, like, obviously there's some danger to being a pilot, obviously, but it would be understood. You're like, yeah, this job is, you know, we have to be compensated because we all get cancer.
Now, Slav did talk about, you know, traveling and getting sick. And I think there's something there. It's probably most likely being in and out of airports and around people coming from everywhere.
Yeah, that I could see. And
communicable diseases.
Yeah, that you're just constant. And I don't know if there's something to this, but like being in different places where, you know, maybe the strains are slightly modified. I don't know if that's something like how when you go to different places, like the water makes you sick and other places don't. Like, I don't know about that, but yeah, I mean, traveling in general, I feel like if you're traveling a lot, kind of lowers your immune system.
Well, one health thing that I ran into in my career, and I started in helicopters for a while before ever flying airplanes. And then as I flew like faster, higher flying airplanes, all of a sudden, when I was flying like business jets which operate at the highest altitudes, you know, typically above like what you think of as like a commercial airliner, I noticed I was getting a lot of headaches.
Interesting.
And initially, I thought maybe it was an altitude thing because, like, when you're flying on a flight, it's say 35,000 feet. The airplane's pressurized, but it's not enough to where it's physiologically like sea level in the cabin, you know, so you might be at like a 5,000 foot altitude. So it's kind of like being in Denver for a couple hours.
Right.
Well, the planes I was flying were flying in the mid 40s. So the cabin altitude would be the equivalent of like 7,500 feet. So my first thought was, well, maybe it's that like, you know, spending 5 hours a day, every day at that kind of pressure. But then I thought, well, when I was flying unpressurized airplanes, I'd be at 10,000 feet and not getting these headaches. I think it's the pressurization system itself, the way it pulls in air and it has to dry that air for the health of the system. So I think that circulating, drying air, it's more like you were in the desert with extremely low humidity for hours at a time.
Interesting.
And you don't realize it. And so I made a conscious effort to like drink more water throughout the day and kind of solved it. But
have you
so
spoken with other pilots who say they get headaches flying in the business jets?
Not really, just
Not
because
really.
I generally don't conversationally bring up,
Yeah.
that I don't feel good. So, but
Right.
I will say that if you're from a place, like I'm originally from Louisiana with high humidity, that I could see that having an impact on your health when you travel, just because you're rapidly exposing yourself to, dry air.
Interesting. All right, but we can put the cancer thing to bed. We can put that to rest.
I think so. As much
Is
as I hate to
there
disagree
higher
with
levels
Slav,
of
'cause he's
radiation?
spot on. I don't think so. Just, from being physically like higher in the atmosphere, but it's not like I would think that you probably experience higher radiation just from being like outside with your skin exposed to the sun.
Right.
But that's not anything that I've got any expertise on.
Yeah. I mean, they've been flying for long enough at this point where these kind of things would probably be pretty settled science, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. And, pilots tend to have pretty good health care. So it's not like, oh yeah, pilots are dying left and right of undiagnosed cancer and no one knows about it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That one just didn't make any sense to me. But thank you for clearing that up. Anything else you want to add?
No, that was really it. I'll just listen to you guys talk about Epstein theory, since I don't really have strong opinions one way or another.
Cool. Appreciate you calling in. Thanks, John.
So, anyways, love the show. Long time listener. Second time I've talked to you.
Hell yeah.
Enjoy it.
Thanks, man. All right. That was Jason. All right. Let's take some more calls. The phone lines are open. I'm surprised less of you are calling today. 1-888-949-2969. Maybe you guys are watching something else. Fucking Judases. Let's go to Dylan. Dylan.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, so I found some stuff. I guess you already brought up Ehud Barak.
Yeah.
And I made a video on it that's a little bit more detailed. But when I was thinking about all the stuff that was going on with ICE and in the last month or so, I started to think about how, like, oh, man, we were just having stuff kick off with Iran. And then also in June of 2025, we had the other ICE incidents, the big ICE raids in California. And then that's when they did the Operation Lion or whatever it was, when they did the initial bombing of Iran.
Okay, yeah, the Fordo nuclear facility.
Yeah, so I was like, man, that's kind of weird that every time that we go fuck with Iran and the Middle East, we have some big immigration debacle. And at the same time, our presidents and leaders end up in these situations with sex blackmail.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, is there another time when I was younger or something that there was a big immigration push or controversy? And I started thinking about the Elian Gonzalez story.
Oh yeah.
Do
I
you
remember
that?
I remember Elian Gonzalez. Yeah, they had the fucking guns pointed at him in the closet.
Yeah, that's a really weird picture, huh? That somebody was right there. Have you looked at that recently?
I haven't. Is the guy missing a head?
No, but like it's just the kid's scared, and then you've got the guy pointing MP5 at Elian Gonzalez right there in the closet, and somebody just happens to be in the corner with a flash photography taking a picture of that exact moment.
It was odd. I mean, I'd like to know the story for the reason why they had to raid this home. He was Cuban, right? To raid this home, like guns ablaze. Obviously, they weren't firing, but like the necessity, like, is that normal?
So one, the person that ordered that was Janet Reno. And if you know anything about Janet Reno, she was the one in charge of the Waco siege.
Okay.
And
so she was a bit of a loose cannon.
Yeah. And she was in charge of, I think, OKC or something else. major like that. But so then I started to think about, man, that's weird that they were really making such a huge big deal of this, and it looked like a staged photo. And the situation with ICE in Minnesota is that they're trying to get these illegals to stay so that they can use it for a voter demographic for the Democrats, right?
Yeah.
I mean, pretty obvious.
I mean, Abdul seems to confirm that. If there was any notion that you didn't believe that, and then you talk to Abdul and you're like, that's starting to check out.
Okay, so what was happening in Florida also being kind of a swing state, what Cubans are used for here is basically to keep Florida red because they're anti-communist and they vote red. Well, guess what party at that time was pushing really hard to keep Cubans and keep Ilhan in the country?
The Republicans?
Giuliani.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
Giuliani was calling Hillary and these people Nazis, comparing the raid on these people like the SS.
Crazy. So, yeah, I was like, because what year was this? What year was Elian Gonzalez?
That was the siege. He was found on November 21, 1999. The actual siege happened on April 22nd of 2000 around 4 a.m.
I mean, you do make a good point when you look at that photo and you're just like, so there was a professional photographer just sweeping a house with them?
Yeah, but this isn't even the crazy part. So I'm just saying this is the distraction.
Okay.
So I made a video on this if you want to go further into this on your own.
On your channel?
Essentially what I did.
Shout out the channel.
I looked Dylan Farnham 1488.
Go ahead, continue.
And so I was like, let me go look at what happened in 1999 around that time. And at that time, I was like, all right, there were a bunch of things happening. We had Y2K. We also had a lot of things going on with Clinton. We had some things going on with Ehud Barak. Mm-hmm. And then I looked at what was going on in 2000 because I was like, all right, well, they're going to need this story for a while. So obviously they're going to bleed it into 2000. So I'll kind of shout off a couple of dates. But once I started looking into this, it got a little deeper than I thought it would. So in August 1996, Russia pulls out of Chechnya.
Okay.
And then in February 12th to 14th of 1997, Netanyahu and Clinton meet secretly to discuss the phone sex tapes between Lewinsky and Clinton.
What did Netanyahu have to do with that? Just trying to get advice?
Well, Lewinsky is long thought to be a Mossad agent.
Ah, gotcha.
I guess you didn't know this.
I've heard stuff to that effect, yes, but I've never.
They were telling him basically that they were monitoring him, and that instead of saying that we're gonna hold you, kind of hostage with this, they went and told him, we threw out the phone sex tapes that we recorded of you. And this was on February 12th, 1997. So on April 7th of that year, Clinton breaks up with Lewinsky. And then in October 15th to the 23rd of 1998, there's a thing called the Y River Memorandum, where Netanyahu, Yasser Arafat, and Madeleine Albright, all under the lead by Clinton, meet to resume negotiations on a two-state solution. And if you remember, Trump also said that he was going to resolve this situation with Palestine and Israel to, maybe have a two-state solution, right? Mm-hmm. And he also got blackmailed. So then in December 18th of 1998, the Clinton admin and the EU declare that they have an agreement with both sides. So everything looks like it's going to go good. And then on, I'm going to skip a little bit. We basically had a bunch of news about the Y2K and still stuff going on with Clinton.
Yeah.
So Then in 1999, of February 12th of 1999, exactly 2 years after the meeting between Netanyahu and Clinton, Clinton gets acquitted of the impeachment proceedings. Exactly in that same year, in May 17th of 1999, Ehud Barak, who is the guy that you just talked about being blackmailed by Epstein, he runs on a platform of peace and bringing peace to the Middle East with a two-state solution, right? So he's elected prime minister of Israel, and he's friends with Epstein. Then later in that year, August 22nd of 1999, he kind of starts to oversee this committee of exemption for orthodoxy from the military service. The worries about September 9th, 1999, Y2K scare kind of increases, and they still kind of bring up more like distractions about what's going on. Then we go back to Elian Gonzalez. That's in 1999, November 21st. That's when he gets found. So now we have the Elian distraction, and we're still dealing with Ehud Barak. So all through 2000, Elian has kind of taken all the news. And then in May 24th of 2000, Israel withdrew from southern Lebanon. And on June 1st, 2000, Elian gets sent back to Cuba. And then in July, Camp David summit, which was held to resolve the Israel-Palestine conflict with a two-state solution, ended up failing. So then Ariel Sharon, who was Ehud Barak's opponent in that election in Israel, he, as they're trying to create peace, Ariel Sharon visits the Temple Mount in East Jerusalem, leading to the Second Intifada. And that's basically he goes to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Well, on October 7th of 2000, does that date sound familiar?
So what date again?
October 7th of 2000.
Of course.
Three Israeli soldiers were killed in a border raid by Hezbollah. And then they start taking hostages. And then Ehud Barak resigns and Ariel Sharon takes over. And Ehud Barak leaves to go work for EDS, which is a Ross Perot company that was created to make IBM systems more efficient, which is kind of ironic if you know the history of IBM. They started as an efficiency company with the trains.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So then Ehud Barak goes away for a while, and then he makes a comeback to politics in 2005. Well, guess who was investigated in 2005? Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein pleads guilty in 2008. 2008, Ehud Barak leads the first Gaza war, or the Gaza massacre. And then in that same year, the Chechen war ends. So it's very interesting. If you look at it, I have it kind of listed in the description of the video, because it's hard for probably everybody to kind of look at these, keep these dates in their head and kind of like create a timeline. But when you start seeing the description of the timeline and seeing the connections to these people and the sex blackmail between Ehud Barak and the starts of these wars, and Clinton and the starts of these wars, and then Trump being blackmailed and the starts of these wars, it starts to be really interesting.
An interesting pattern. So is that kind of the overarching through line here? Is that every time there's some sort of sexual blackmail scandal, there's a war following it somewhere?
Yes. And there was also some ties to Yugoslavia as well. But yeah, so essentially what they do is they sexually blackmail the leader. They get the public all distracted with an internal problem with their immigration, and that keeps the eyes off of the Middle East.
It's an interesting theory. I mean, I do find it kind of funny that their sexual honeypot is they sent Monica Lewinsky.
I mean, I like chubby bitches. I
feel like she looks better now than she did in the 90s. That is interesting, though. So do you think that this current iteration of sexual blackmail scandals is, I mean, it's hard to say that it's going to lead specifically to anything because it seems like there's so much on the horizon regardless.
Well,
but
nothing ever happens with these guys. I mean, Ehud Barak, you know, what seems to be the thing is, hey, we're going to let you know that, like, you don't run the show here. And then you go ahead and bomb these kids and you can keep,
and now when you say
making mincemeat salad of children.
Yeah. And when you say they, obviously, like, you know, generally it's the Jews, but like, is it this kind of like elite, like cabal of people who are kind of like behind the scenes, like kind of secretly running the show? Because it doesn't seem like you're specifically mentioning any political place, or are you saying this is just all Israel?
I think so. Like, this is
like, is Israel trying to get like Yugoslavia bombed?
Yugoslavia was bombed on behest of NATO because the Serbs were being backed up by Israel, and the Albanians and Kosovo were obviously with the Muslims, and then the Chechens. It swings back and forth. This is the other thing is that you got Yugoslavia as one route that was used for the Jews to get to Israel during the kind of the ends of World War II. And then they were barred from Ukraine. As you can probably note, that Ukraine has a very high Nazi population. And now they're creating a second route to Israel. And on the video that I made also, if you go and look at the population density of America of Jews, you can go and see that it increases all the way down through the south, through Florida, down to Cuba, to Little St. James, to Venezuela. Then you go the opposite way with the immigration situations we've had in Texas, and then down to Mexico, and look at all the leaders through Central America that went on board. All of those points from both sides, from Little St. James down through Central America, intersect into Colombia and Venezuela. Well, guess what? 2 countries and 2 leaders of those countries aren't on board with Israel. Colombia, and
currently in the scope.
Then you have these, and then you have all the way back down to Patagonia with Milei, who is way on board with Israel.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're creating these trafficking pipelines and these kind of little networks through there. That was kind of a side story of that. But my thing about like the Jews, because me and Jared had a really interesting guest on our show last night. We kind of discussed on J-Talk.
Who was the guest?
His name was Bill Byers. He's really, really informed on the Bible.
Okay.
And so what we were talking about is I found an interesting interview with a guy named Kevin McDonald on Jake Shields recently, who kind of was the only other person I've ever heard really talk about this. Whereas, like, Danny, you're not in the club. Like, you're Jewish, but you're like,
maybe that's what I want. Maybe that's what I want you to think.
That's fine. But and so, like, they use people like you to claim that you're Jewish as like peons in a shield of like the front lines. But really what Judaism seems to be, since they've been kicked out of so many countries, you can't really define what a Jew looks like if you look at the people of Israel. Because, I mean, you have all these, I've said this before, you have these crazy
Alex Preddy kind of
inbred redhead.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some
you've got the Ari Shafirs, you've got the redheaded goblins also in there. You've got all these
some super dark skinned ones. Yeah,
you've got no homogenous look of Jews, even though supposedly they're a race.
Sure.
So what it is I think a lot of people have been getting kicked out of countries, and then these people that are kicked out of countries kind of form a gang like the orphans in the movie The Warriors.
Okay.
Where they're all the cast-asides and the ne'er-do-wells, and then they've come together and made a group. And that's why Judaism as a religion there isn't really a core tenet of it. Like, yes, you can say, I guess, that it circles around the Torah or the Talmud, but like there's so many different sects that like it's almost as crazy different as the different parts of.
Isn't Christianity Christianity has a million different sects?
Yeah, and I call like me, Jared, and this other guy, Bill Byers, that we're having conversation is we think that Catholicism particularly is a psyop. If you look at the comparison of Catholics and Judaism, it's almost the same exact group. Catholics invented the international banking cabal. They perform rituals just like that. They worship many gods, even though they'll just say they're just, having someone pray on their behalf or whatever it is the fuck they say. Both of them are very entwined in child abuse scandals. And
wait, you're saying Christians are not? That's the child abuse is specifically
Catholics
Catholic
are
thing?
not Christians, in my opinion.
Yeah, but you're saying that like I actually don't even know. So, but is most of the like church abuse scandals? I know the main ones are Catholic, but Christian churches never got roped into.
Well, you've got like these.
I guess because they can be married, right?
You've got like I'm not going to go too deep into this, but like you've got the LDS, who's also basically another mirror form of the Catholic Church, but smaller. Like they're the American branch of Catholicism. They've got their own little core city over there in Salt Lake City. The Catholics have their own little golden city in Italy. The Jews have their own little Jerusalem, whatever. But really what it ties back to is that like the reason I wasn't saying Jews in the beginning is because it really stems mostly from the city of London and the central banks. And so the reason that they're able to control all these societies is that they're able to go and print out unlimited amounts of money and control the financial systems. And that's so then India and China have actually been mirroring this strategy where they mass produce people and then send over like their best champions. Like if you were playing Warhammer 40K, and then you've got all of these left behinds, which don't matter, but then they go and have their own currency inflation and stagnation, and then send over their people. And then there's the one true currency, which is the dollar. They go and abuse it, and then they create they've been taking over and getting revenge on the white goyim, essentially, and using them as no longer usefuls. It's a lot to try to explain, and just
I feel like you made a good case that Jews aren't a race.
Well, okay, so here's the thing I've meant to ask you before is that like, can you take off being Jewish?
What do you mean? Can I take it off?
Well, can you say that you're not Jewish anymore? Because you say that you're white, but then you say that, okay, I'm Jewish.
Well, you're white and Christian, I would imagine.
Yeah, but the Christians don't call themselves a race. Jews call themselves a race.
Some do. I mean, some. It's not like across the board. And I mean, look, the fact is
Let's put it this way: Christians don't have a word like goyim. No other group of people has a general term like that to call outsiders as goyim.
I know, it's pretty awesome, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The goyim thing is funny because it's really a term old. Like I've never heard any young Jews really use it. It's more older Jews. Like it's a somewhat antiquated thing. It has got quite the resurgence recently, though. I will say that. It is. Well,
it's also a lot of.
I've been trying to figure out some merch to make around it. It is kind. I mean,
N-word.
Ari did the best joke about it, where he's like, "It is literally a slur for like everybody else. Like basically the entire planet minus 15 million. It's like a slur for, which is pretty funny. But
Well, what I'm saying is like, we're going to start using it in our rap videos.
sure, go ahead.
Like you guys can't say it though.
We
Or else
can't
we get
say
to
it.
enact violence.
You guys want to?
can't say it anymore.
Yeah.
You slave masters and your whip cracking. Done with.
You know what's
It's our
funny,
word
actually?
now.
Yeah, you know what's funny, actually? I was thinking about it today because, like, obviously Jeffrey Epstein in a bunch of emails, like, he uses the term, and like, I did see a bunch of people getting upset about it, and this is the closest slur for like a white Christian person, where it seems like the first time in my life where I've ever seen any white Christian person be like actually care about a slur being used against them. Like, you know how blacks would always be like cracker, and you're like, yeah, I don't really care about that. Or like honky, you're like, oh yeah, that doesn't bother me. But so I did see some people getting their panties in a bunch over goyim. So, I mean, you guys could have it, to be honest. It's not a word I don't think it's really a word I've ever used. I've heard it from older Jews, but it's not something I've ever said personally. I might put it in the repertoire.
There was one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was one more thing when I was going back to this thing with the blackmail. Netanyahu also had a very close call of no confidence up until the October 7 situation.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And that was in the 2020s. Well, on September 4th of 2020, Trump also normalized economic relations between Kosovo and Serbs that went basically completely unnoticed. Huh. And then now Serbia is actually even though they were helped by Israel, is now refusing to sell weapons to Israel due to the Iran conflict. So something is going on where those 3 points are tied in together. But
yeah, I never considered Kosovo this big like geopolitical player, or Serbia for that matter, but could be something there.
All right.
I'm not sure. All right, good call, Dylan. That was one of your better calls ever. I will say that. That's a good goy.
Right, thank you.
Good goy.
Hail Hitler.
All right, later, Dylan. All right, let's keep this moving along. Yeah, we got a super chat. Who did this? Drew says, "Is it really the Middle East? If it's east, isn't it just more or less east? Why is there a middle? Where does east start? Because I think it's pretty far west to be middle. I don't know. I'm an alcoholic." It's a good question. Real noodle scratcher there, Dylan. All right, let's go to Mark.
Hey, what's up, Danny?
Mark, what's going on? You're on Low Value Mail.
Mark and T.O.
Mark and the T-Dot. What's up?
Obviously talking about Epstein. You know, the goyim, the goyim talk, there's a lot of it in there. And I think the difference when you're saying like cracker, it's just like, oh yeah, you former slave master, you person of power, right? The way that they're using it, especially talking about basically ripping us off, is really unnerving, just in a way that they've highlighted how they've manipulated the global financial system to screw us. And so I think that's why it does sting a little bit.
It does.
Because it does feel like we're being put in our place. But I don't know if you, merch, good idea. Okay.
Some good goyim merch. Yeah, some good goyim merch. I don't know if that's my brand, but no, I mean, I saw some, like, the thing is, some of the stuff, for the most part, like, at least the way I read it with the Epstein stuff, was pretty, like, tongue-in-cheek. Like, I don't think it was this kind of, like, I saw the thing where he was talking about,
there's
like, the shipping.
Half truth in every joke, right, Danny?
There's a shipping company. Something about the shippers.
Or like waiting in the lobbies for the goyim, and it's just like, I don't think he's joking. Like, but he's joking, but he's serious. Like, he means it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is sometimes when, like, because what was some other ones? There was like probably.
There's a lot. There's a lot of goyim talk in there.
Let's see how many entries there are for goy. 33. That's not terrible. I would have thought there were more. 45 for goyim. Yeah, it's there's a lot of different ones. Sometimes, like, because he was talking about something about like a bunch of bankers, and he goes like, and then there was someone where it was like, it was all Jews. Where were the goys? But I think that was more of like a playful, like, hey, like, we did some event and it was just Jews here. Where are the non-Jews? I mean, certainly sometimes it can be a pejorative, no question. I would say like most of the time it's somewhat tongue-in-cheek. Like, what did he say? He says, this is from Jeffrey Epstein to somebody. He says, it appears that you and the press are still joined at the hip for the moment. Too bad for you. The plebeians stay entertained. I will tell you this. It's an interesting scene at the Colony on Friday night at Club 10, and the goyim in general know how to have a good time. Like that, I don't think is... He's talking about some club in Palm Beach. I think he's more being critical of maybe Jews there. They go, oh, the Jews don't know how to have a fun time. But certainly in some instances that I saw, I go, yeah, it's kind of a shitty thing.
Did you watch the Steve Bannon kind of interview prep?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't an actual interview. I think that he was like prepping him for a later interview.
It was a media.
So,
I think they were framing it as like a media training.
That's kind of what it looked like, because in a normal interview, Bannon wouldn't interrupt as much as he does, because he's like feeding like talking points to him. But so kind of like Jared Kushner, like we've seen Epstein for years now, never heard his voice before. That was the first time I ever heard him.
I know, and he sounded like a real dopey Jew.
Little, I thought he was going to sound like Ron Perlman for some
Honestly,
reason. Honestly,
I'm exactly the same. I go, that's not... I feel like I had seen some like deposition videos of him, but I feel like they were like grainy. Like that was like the first high-res video of him, really. Like everything else is always like generally pretty grainy video from like his deposition from like probably early like 2010s or something. Yeah, I expected him to sound a bit more badass and less like dopey Jew.
He sounded very stereotypical. But like as I was watching the interview, I watched the whole thing, and I was just kind of like maybe halfway through, I'm like, damn, Jeffrey, you kind of are, charming, aren't you? Wow, Jeffrey, you're a good conversation. Tell me more.
Yeah,
and then you see Ghislaine pop up in the background. I'm like, damn,
I know.
Had it. He had
I know.
Ride or Die. And
if people haven't seen it,
Ghislaine
literally, yeah, she like pops her head in and she's like waiting in the back there. Yeah, he did seem well spoken. I mean, a lot of the stuff he was saying seemed like kind of horseshit. Like a lot of it felt very vague. Like when Bannon's like, you're like the best, and nobody understands the financial markets and the economy and all that stuff better than you. He's like, would you say that? And he's like, I'm sure there's someone. He's
nobody
like,
understands economics.
But he does, but it seems
maybe this
like
guy is some kind of intelligence ass and he doesn't know anything about economics, and like he is just bullshitting. I was having the same thought.
When you go back to that like Lord, I thought that that Lord Mandelson thing was very telling.
Again, these guys just have
that came from
the inside track.
Well, that's the thing. Lord Mandelson,
financial information.
Well, that's the thing. Lord, this guy Lord Mandelson was was high up in the UK government.
It was confidential report on the economy, yeah.
And so
if you make an insider trading bet off of that.
Exactly. And you go, when you put it in that context, where you go, okay, so this guy is just like super well connected, knows all these people absolutely everywhere, and they feed him these like can't miss scenarios where they're like, yo, we're about to announce a $500 billion bailout package. And he goes, okay. And he just goes and places a trade and just free money. Like that kind of stuff where you go, that's not genius, that's criminal. Like nobody's like, oh, what a genius that guy is. Like, I mean, to just have all these super connected friends. At that point you go, oh, this is just, garden variety criminal fucking behavior.
Right. And
so I'm curious how much more of it there was than that.
I don't think he was any agent, but I think he was an asset for Mossad. And we know that Mossad basically deals with everybody. They're open for, they work with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, he had a lot of
Mossad asset, and that's why he's linked to everybody.
I mean, he had like the one that I didn't really know about. Like, I'd never really heard too many links with him. Was Putin? Putin there's 1,000
he has some
over
back channels with Russia.
Over 1,000 entries in this batch of Epstein files from Putin, and apparently, he had back channels with Russia where he was, like meeting privately with Putin. There was, the whole issue of all these like Russian prostitutes, like. Putin might play a bigger role in this than we ever thought.
Sex trafficking and Ghislaine strangling and murdering, I don't know, burying some kids or something. There's some crazy shit in there. But it's just like the sex trafficking was just a byproduct of the activity. That's the thing that was kind of crazy to me. Is like we just thought he was just a pedophile. This was just some sex stuff. But really, that was just the byproduct of what he was doing. That's how all the stuff, the wheels got greased, was just the girls. And I guess, Bill Gates. He couldn't get antibiotics anywhere. Like, what the fuck, Like,
it is hilarious.
You don't know anybody?
Yeah, you can't just go you can't just tell you don't have like a gopher or some assistant. Maybe he couldn't trust anybody to get like specifically like chlamydia medication, where he's like the only guy he can trust in is like Jeffrey Epstein, because he knows he's not going to tell anybody. I don't know.
But in terms of the emails, the best email is definitely Elon Musk being just completely autistic and
with the
unable to read
what he's like,
and just being like
with the UN diplomats. He's like, "What are you retarded?" He's like, "I'm not retarded." He's like, "It's gonna be all women under 25." He's like, "Yeah, yeah."
Anyway, take care, Danny.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, a lot of salacious shit coming out of there. That's for sure. Okay, let's take another call here. We got Matt. Let's see if we got Matt. Are you there?
Danny, how are you?
What's happening?
So, big fan of yours. I know you're kind of moving away from the bathhouse, and I've got an
I'd love to save the bathhouse. Let's hear it. I have no aversion to doing the bathhouse. It's just it's a big drain on my time, and I just don't know what the point of doing it is. But go ahead.
I think something a little. See if you do something along the lines of what Scott Adams used to do with Coffee with Scott.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that at all?
Like you're saying instead of the bathhouse, or turn the bathhouse into something like that?
I would say instead of.
Instead of, yeah, because I guess I haven't really thought about that. I mean, he kind of, is it that, I know that it's like, I feel like it's somewhat similar to this. I know he talks a little, but he's way smarter than me. I don't know if I have the Scott Adams chops. But I did like his show.
Oh, hello?
Yeah, you there?
Oh, okay. Sorry, Danny. Sorry about that. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So I disagree. I kind of think you do have the chops.
Okay. And just kind of talk about whatever's happening. The problem is I can't commit with like stand up and everything. It's very hard to like, I can't do that schedule. That's another problem. Is like with all the stuff I have going on, I'm spread fairly thin. And I wish I could do this show more. I mean, I guess it's possible that I would maybe do I would love to do the show more or like during the afternoons. But the problem is like with all my sketches and stuff and like between this and stand up, like it takes a lot of my time. Doing
just not in the car.
Yeah, doing all that stuff. Like I wish I could do a 4-day a week kind of show. I think that'd be great. But it's like these shows require like a lot and then I have the boys cast, like requires a lot of preparation for the show. I know it doesn't seem like it, but
no, I can understand that.
Yeah, so, but maybe we'll see. I think if I stop doing the bathhouse, should that happen, and if people obviously want to save it, join the bathhouse, save the bathhouse thing on YouTube. But yeah, should that happen, I'm gonna focus my efforts on this show to kind of grow this show and see if maybe that's. I mean, there is some element that drives me crazy where people are like, "I didn't know Low Value Mail is live," and I'm like, I constantly post that it's a live show, and people are like, "I didn't know it was a live show," and I'm like. Drives me nuts. Drives me absolutely crazy where people are like, I didn't know it was live. I'm like, I say it's live every week. I multiple times a week. I'm like, live show. I tweet about it, everything. And people are like, I didn't know it was live. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a good show. I think you do a good job. And I think I probably should have more traction by now. I understand your frustration.
Yeah. I mean, this show, I like where it's at. Obviously, I would like to... for it to be more successful, but more the bathhouse, because the bathhouse, there's this element that people don't really see where I'm like, I gotta fucking book all these comedians and they're like constantly canceling on me. Then I'm like scrambling last minute to like replace them. And like this is easier because I'm like, this is just me. Like, I don't have to schedule anybody. I don't rely on anybody else to do this. Whereas the bathhouse, I'm like, I got 2 or 3 other people. They're always like, I'm running late, or people are always like, why is the show starting late? I'm like, because fucking 2 people are late. I'm like, I can't make people show up on time.
Yeah. I love this show too. I just kind of don't understand the obsession with Jewish people.
What do you mean? It's the ultimate conspiracy.
I've never understood that.
It's the top of the pyramid.
I don't know. There's There's something I'm missing.
I don't know. I find
don't
it.
agree with hate.
Yeah, I don't, and nor do I. And there is an element about this where I, like, to my detriment, and I know some people don't like this, like Jewish people, where they're like, but I know there's other Jews like me who I'm like, I just find this stuff so funny. I don't know why. I find it legitimately funny.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I find it confusing.
Yeah.
I'm not Jewish, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an age-old thing. Like, this isn't exactly new. It kind of just goes in waves, and you know.
The more I learn about history, I'm like, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago. Wow, those people hated Jews. Those people hated Jews. I don't.
It's a story as old as time, and yet we're here somehow.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Anyways, Danny, thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate it, man.
I hope everything goes well.
Yeah, it will. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye, everybody. All right, let's take some more calls. If you're on the line, hang on the line. The phone lines are open. 1-888-949-2969. Let's go to Jacob. Let's see if we can get him to pick up. Jacob, not picking up. All right, let's go to Joe the lawyer. We'll see if we can get Joe the lawyer on here. It's been a long time. Been a minute. Joe the lawyer, what's happening? Been a minute.
Hey, Danny, how you doing?
Very well.
Yeah,
how are you, Joe?
Doing well.
Well, I mean, you're busy making kids. How many kids do you have now? What do we got? Double
4.
digits yet? Only 4?
No, not yet. I know.
Joe, see, these whites can take a real lesson from you. Procreating, you don't sit around complaining about some replacement theory, poppycock.
Well, I mean,
you're just
we
cranking them out.
Been able to. We're still not at the level we were before, 39.
Right.
So
you're just cranking them out. You're doing something about it, is what I'm saying.
And I think that everyone else should do that too. All the white people that are complaining, get busy.
Get busy. Exactly. Well said. So what's up, Joe?
So I want to discuss what some stuff Dylan said.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, he went off about like how Judaism has like so many different sects and whatever. That's really not accurate. There's a handful.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's kind of until maybe up until 200 years ago, there were 2 sects. It was really one sect, Orthodox, and then there was Fry, which literally means free. It just means someone who's not religious.
Okay.
Then there was Hasidism, which started, and that's really just another form of Orthodox. And that's basically all it was up until about 150 years ago or so. Probably like 120 years ago, where Reform started.
Okay,
and,
that is funny you say that, because
then
someone asked me the other day about. They go, what is the difference between Hasids and Orthodox? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think anything.
It's really just the way of dress and certain things that, one can eat and the other one can't. And certain times, like, do you pray at this time or do you pray at that time? It's really not much of a difference.
Okay. Yeah, not much.
And then after Reform, conservative was kind of like thing in the middle between Orthodox and Reform.
Gotcha.
And mind you, in Israel, like, there is really no Reform or conservative. It's just you're either Orthodox or you're not religious.
Or you're just regular. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I honestly, for someone who went to Jewish school for like 9 years, I honestly know so little about it. Like the intricacies of it. There's a lot of stuff I go, I don't know, maybe. I feel like some of these people who don't like Jews, I'm like, you might know more about this shit than I do.
Well, they probably look into it more.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a hobby for them than that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, also, I would say in terms of like the whole thing of goyim being an insult, it could be. It's also like it depends how you say the word Jew, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
I've certainly had some hard J's dropped on me.
Like Jews themselves, like especially if you speak to like Jews speak Yiddish, like they refer to themselves as Goy Kaddish, holy nation. Goy just means nation.
Yeah.
So, and also we're not the only ones that have a term for other people that are not us, like infidel for the Muslims.
Sure. Sure. Goy's kind of like the Muslim infidel.
I guess.
Yeah, I think they don't like it because it's
connotation.
Yeah, I think also just because there's so few Jews, and they go, "That's crazy that you have a term for like 99.9% of the earth." Well, now, can I ask you not to put you on the hot seat here? Yeah, go ahead.
No, the Mormons, they use the term Gentile for anyone that's not Mormon.
Oh, I didn't know that. So that's pretty similar. Mormons are kind of like have some Jew vibes to them for Christians, or from the that sect of things.
Yeah, and also just about the Jews being a race. I maintain that they are. Yes, there's no homogeneous look, but there never was. If you look in the Torah, Zipporah, the wife of Moses, she's called Cushi. She's black. Mind you, do not use the term Cushi when you're in Israel. That is the N-word over there. So,
really?
Yes.
Good to know. I thought it would have been like, they don't just say Schwarzer like the rest of them?
That's Yiddish.
That's Yiddish, right.
Cushi is Hebrew.
Cushi.
And then, yes. And also King David was a redhead. So like clearly there was, a whole slew of, different looking Jews, even, 3,000 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, every group, even black people have redheads.
I mean, people don't realize this, but at the time of the time of Jesus, like 10% of Rome was of the Roman Empire was Jewish. It was a very popular religion.
What happened?
Christianity happened.
That's how it goes.
We were the only monotheism.
Right. Interesting.
And then everyone started ripping us off. The Christians, Muslims.
Interesting.
But
yeah, do you have any thoughts on this Epstein stuff?
Not really. He was a schmuck. I never thought highly of him in the first place.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that he was friends with Abe Barak. Abe Barak was a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
I do love the conspiracy theory that he's actually alive. Like the whole Hitler survived and he was living in Argentina or something.
Right. I have been seeing everybody keeps posting this photo of him, like this drone shot photo of him, and they were today, and they're like, this was allegedly days after. But that's how just quickly nonsense spreads online, where everybody's like, this is a few days after he was killed himself and he's on his island, and everybody's like, no, that was when they raided his island. And you can easily confirm that. I think people don't want to let this whole conspiracy go. It's just it's too fun.
Well, I think that we're not going to be talking about it within the week. I think there's going to be some sort of an attack on Iran or something, and everyone's just going to, now we're all talking about that.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was proposing at the beginning. Was I'm like, if you're some powerful elite and you want people to shut the fuck up about this, go bomb the shit out of somewhere right now, literally.
I mean, we're already moving everything there. I would be shocked if we didn't.
Yeah. Do you think that's? I'm curious if there's any sort of relation there. If they knew I'm sure they knew the day that this stuff was coming out, and they go, all right, we gotta get moving on this Iran thing.
I don't think that was the thought process. I think it's more like, I think that it was more to shut people up about the whole ICE situation.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, oh, well, if we're going to create a distraction anyway, might as well get this out while we can. And,
right. Yeah, because I mean, this just ended the ICE thing. Just the conversation about ICE is just over. Literally nobody gives a shit. It's just on to the new thing. Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to say? Can I ask you a question, not to put you on the hot seat here? Are goyim cattle?
Yeah, sure. What? No. Are you going to bring up all these Talmud stuff? We have to do an episode And I've studied helmets. We can go through this stuff. I will explain. Some stuff are complete garbage. Some stuff, the quotes are technically accurate, but completely out of
misrepresented.
Context.
Okay, we could do that. We could do
Yeah.
that. You let me know whenever you want to do that, and we'll do like an Ask a Jew segment. We'll let people just fire away any question they want.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool, Joe.
But no, goyim are not cattle. That's not.
Okay, but some of them are. Some of them are.
I would not call any of them an animal any more than I'd call someone. I mean, have I called people animals? When I'm driving,
Sure.
They cut me off, but
it wasn't. It wasn't because they're
when
sure.
When I get cut off by a Jew. So that's,
yeah. Fair enough. All right, Joe. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Joe, the lawyer, everybody. He put it to rest. You guys aren't cattle, even though some of you are definitely cattle. All right. Let's take another call here. I'm going to close the phone lines for now. Who we got? We got Steve here. See if he can unmute himself. Not working. Let's try Charlie. Let's see if Charlie can unmute himself. There we go. Some people just hang up when you go to unmute them. It's Charlie.
Charlie from Florida. What's up, Danny?
What's up, pal? How you doing?
It's doing good. How about you? A lot of frozen iguanas.
I heard. I've been seeing that. I was just in Florida on Friday, actually, and Wednesday.
Oh, were you?
And Tuesday.
Oh, nice.
I literally had to fly back to New York on Wednesday night just to do the podcast, and then left for Friday again, or for Florida again on the Friday morning. It was cold.
Yeah, it's not really freezing. It's like in the 20s, which is freezing for Florida. I mean, everybody's losing it,
Isn't the 20s literally freezing?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah. I mean, it's never like this. Florida's never like this.
No.
And then it warms up tomorrow afternoon. It's supposed to warm up again.
And that'll be that. You guys can all
it's wild, man.
exchange battle stories.
Like Gainesville is snowing.
That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
It is crazy.
I saw the iguanas. I didn't realize iguanas were like some crazy invasive species in Florida. I thought they were just this fun thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, did they nuke the stream again? Hold on a second. I'm going to be pissed if I got nuked again. Oh, my God. Did they? I can't tell if I got nuked. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. My page reset, and I go, did they get me again? But they didn't.
Oh,
not this time, YouTube. I didn't realize they were this invasive species there.
Oh, yeah, Florida's got all kinds of fun stuff.
But I thought they were just these cute things that were around.
Yeah, I mean, they're all over the place, man. They got big, small ones, different color, multicolored ones. It's crazy.
Yeah, I remember when I was in Miami, I was walking through this parking lot, and I just saw an iguana's tail. It must have been like a foot and a half long.
Yeah.
Just the tail.
Yeah.
Just sitting there in the parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all over, man. Just like gators, like 14-foot gators on golf courses around here.
Crazy.
It's wild.
Wild.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I just kind of wanted to get your whole take on the whole thing. I mean, it's just another one of these things where, everybody's mad about this now. And they're like, the more I hear about Jeffrey Epstein, I'm starting to think that he wasn't the most upstanding citizen.
No, he certainly was not the most upstanding citizen. He doesn't seem like necessarily the smartest guy.
No.
Like he wasn't
kind
stupid.
Of a jerk, maybe.
Yeah, maybe kind of. Yeah, like it's hard to pin down. I mean, my whole thing is just simply, if they don't arrest anybody, then what is the point of any of this? Which I don't think they will. But I'm like,
from the outside looking in, to me, because I don't know shit, obviously. Like, what do we know besides what people release on social media? It's like, from the outside looking in, it kind of just, it seems just like it's this big, like, widespread blackmail thing where people from both sides, both political sides, kind of use it against the other side to say like, oh, well, there's a picture of this guy with Ghislaine Maxwell, or this their picture of Ralph Macchio standing with. I mean, I don't know, and I feel like the waters are muddied too, where there might be a ton of fake shit inside all of the real shit.
I mean, there was like a letter from the Trump from some guy. I think his name was like Chucky Johnson or something like that. And, the FBI basically any tip they have to include here. And then there was, this thing of people being like satanic rituals and all this stuff. But this was after Epstein had died at that point. And you could just any person could just call in the FBI. You could literally be some nut on the street and just be like, I saw a fucking, and they just all right, well, leave, we have to log this. Like they might just say it's nonsense, but there's a record of it and it goes in the thing. And then people are like, see, look at this. Look at all this crazy shit Trump did, which is, I can understand why Trump is like, I just would prefer not to release this. And then when you go back to the notion that it's, this uniparty which it kind of is, where, behind the scenes, all these people are friends. Like you might see them on TV yelling at each other, but for the most part, they are friendly with each other behind the scenes. And, these are all their friends. These are all these high-powered donors and rich people. And you're like, these are just all their pals who are probably like, you know what? If we could avoid this stuff getting out, like Bill Gates fucking getting an STD from a Russian hooker and trying to give his wife chlamydia pills. He's like, that would probably be preferable. He's like, it's not really a crime. I mean, maybe it's a crime, but it's a pretty low crime as far as crimes go.
What's so crazy to me is it's true. Like, and also too, that people will, they it's like a lot of people don't care anymore what's specifically true or not. It's at least it seems that way. Like they'll see a picture of somebody with somebody and then they're like, well, see, that proves that. Well, it's not really proving anything. It just proves that they were in a picture. It doesn't prove that they. Which is
literally what the DOJ said initially, where they're just like, there's no crimes here, and will essentially people will be ascribing crimes to these people just for associating with this guy. And they're like, but they're not crimes, just because they knew this guy. Like, it's not a crime, but now, we're going to, kind of fuck up all these people's lives. And then the Democrats, essentially, because of all this stuff, are saw it as political points. And we're like, let's just release all this shit. And that's essentially what's going on. All these people are getting, Peter Attia, who's, now getting dragged. I don't know how many people know who he is, but I'm sure a lot of you. But he's just this doctor, health guru guy.
Yeah, he's he's a workout guy, right?
Yeah, he's like a biohacker guy, essentially. And he was kind of friendly with Jeffrey Epstein, and his whole thing is he's like, I was just trying to get funding for him because he was the guy that everybody said was like, if you need funding for certain, health initiatives, he's like, he's the guy to go talk to. And now he's got to go deal with all this bullshit. But again, it's like there's no crimes committed. That's at the end of the day, all everybody wanted was there's powerful people involved in this child trafficking cabal, and they're like, they should go to jail. That's if this just ends up being like, here you go, nobody's going to jail. You're like, okay, great. What was this for then?
Right. What is the point of this?
Yeah. What's the point of this?
And it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Diddy thing in a way, because Diddy, I'm sure at some point probably shook hands and took pictures with almost everybody in the entertainment business.
Literally everybody.
It's the same kind of thing to me, because it's like people will see that and see oh, well, see, they were friends with Diddy. It's like, well, that's just because one of your friends maybe got busted for drugs doesn't make you a drug dealer.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. There was so much more to Epstein was such a crazy conspiracy, they're like, this is a conspiracy, every level of government and all that stuff. Yeah. People are like, this is the big one. People are like, Diddy was like, that's just a localized kind of sex trafficking operation, where for Diddy or for Epstein, you're like, this is the big fish. This is the mother of them all. And then you're like, all right, well, hopefully somebody goes to jail besides the two of them.
Yeah. What do you think about that this is a whole big subject, but I mean, the adrenochrome shit and all that. Do you think that there's truth to that? You think that that's Yeah.
Like
I
I've
mean,
seen
it
some
seems kinda
people
crazy.
say like, oh, these Epstein file releases prove Pizzagate is true. And I'm like, I don't think so. I'm like, by all means, go down this rabbit hole for the fucking 50th time. And, you know, if you want to keep talking about Pizzagate, but
Yeah.
I'm like, they didn't even have a basement in Comet Ping Pong. I thought that was like the whole thing. It was like all in the basement. And there's certainly some things that are questionable. Like I saw some, this is kind of getting drummed up again with like the Madeleine McCann thing. And I don't even know if this is true, but there was like sketches of the people who like abducted Madeleine. This must be fake. Even now that I'm saying it, I go, I didn't look into this enough. This has to be fake because there was 2 sketches and literally like they looked exactly like Ghislaine Maxwell and Tony Podesta or John, one of the Podestas, whatever the bad one was. And I go, that's got to be fake. There's no way that those are the real sketches because they look exactly like them. It's not even like kind of like them. They're like looks identical.
Wow, that's.
But now that I'm saying it, I go, I bet if I spend 5 minutes looking into this, I know it's gonna be fake. But yeah, I don't know.
Right.
It's like again, there should be only one question with this, and it's are people going to jail? And if people are going to jail, then you're like, what the fuck were you guys doing before? They've been sitting on this for 5 years.
And if they had all this huge stuff on Trump, why didn't they use it 8 years ago?
Exactly,
I
because
mean,
they don't.
It seems kind of crazy.
Yeah, it seems kind of crazy. And again, nothing's going to come of this. This is maybe one of the biggest like distraction things where it's, you know, it's fun to talk about. I'll give you that. It's a fun thing to talk about. It's fun, but and you know, it is somewhat illuminating. I mean, I was joking with Ryan today. It's so funny if you go look up Woody Allen, where Woody Allen was like really good friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And Woody Allen is such a, like, dude, Woody Allen has $140 million net worth, allegedly. Probably it's up there, though. And he's like badgering fucking Jeffrey Epstein for a free iPhone. Like, Jeffrey Epstein's like, I have a free iPhone. And you're like, Woody Allen can't just go buy himself a fucking iPhone? Like, the notion Woody Allen's like needs a free iPhone, and you're just like, man, it's just it's in the guy's genes.
Man,
like that guy
gets weirder and weirder.
But he's just like so laughably Jewish that he's like, well, I don't know, I don't need to go buy an iPhone if you got a free iPhone for me. And then, you know, Jeffrey Epstein's like, yeah, come over, I got this iPhone for you, and you're like, yeah, it's like Woody Allen can't buy his own iPhone.
Thing has to be the most absurd.
Yeah,
like
the Stephen
Hawking. Most absurd things.
The whole thing is ridiculous. The whole thing is just. But again, if nothing comes from it, if nobody's going to jail, then it's really like, who gives a shit? There's a whole lot of nothing.
Well, I just wanted
which is
to get
what
your
they
take
said.
on it. Still, I love your show. Keep
Thanks,
going,
man.
and take care.
We're going strong. Later, man. Charlie from Florida, everybody. All right, we're gonna take we got a few more calls on the line, and Dylan Farnham 1488 says, ironic the lawyer provides a poor defense of Jews. And then he also says, everyone with a Twitter account troll Laura Loomer's post, ask Grok if she's allowed to own firearms, and if not, why. Hint, she's been Baker acted. Is that true? I can see it. She seems nuts to me. She seems real nuts. If that's true, that yeah, I mean, didn't she? Yeah, remember when she got kicked off of Twitter and then she handcuffed herself? And it is crazy because she has a direct line to Trump, like direct. I've had a few people tonight. Oh, we lost Gerard. What happened to Gerard? Gerard has disappeared. Maybe his computer crashed. I don't know. He's been complaining about having some computer issues. So we got no Gerard. Oh, there he is. Popped back in. Okay, well, this person's not picking up. God, what's going on today? People are not unmuting themselves. We're having a real problem with the unmute button, aren't we? But hit the unmute. But in the meantime, hit that like button if you're watching. Hello, Spencer.
Hey, what's up, Danny? Spencer from North Carolina.
Spencer from North Carolina. What's up, man?
Hey, man. Yeah, you what you mentioned at the beginning of the show, something that was cracking me up. Like, I haven't read through a whole lot of this stuff. I've been too busy this weekend. But yeah, the thing that stood out to me that you're talking about is like these billionaires talk about like going to have sex with kids. Like they're like oh, I'm gonna go like let's meet up to get a cup of coffee, and then like we'll go pick up a 14-year-old. Like it's so nonchalant and like just from fucking Gmail accounts and Yahoo accounts.
I know.
I
mean,
do these people just
yeah, and these guys are supposed to be like, this guy's supposed to be this spy. Like he's supposed to be this like international spy working for multiple intelligence agencies. I mean, I always find it funny where people will ascribe to like people associated with Mossad, where you're like, these are like the top spies, like nothing gets past them. And this guy's just like on Gmail being like, yeah, what are you doing later? Like a fucking top spies using Gmail.
Yeah, I got this. I heard your dick's burning. I got some cream. Like,
kind of, but you're like, that's
instant messenger.
I don't know a lot about spies, but you watch all these old spy movies and you're like, I don't think they would be just communicating on Gmail. Like there must be a better way than fucking Gmail to be communicating with one another. Even if you're talking in code, like even if we were to be like, yeah, this is all code, and is required some sort of way to decipher it, you're like, well, you still wouldn't do it through Gmail. Like that's crazy. I know Hillary Clinton had her fucking email server thing, but you're like, I don't know. Just that's one thing to me going through this. You go, really, the spy is just like on Gmail constantly, can barely type.
I suppose the only explanation of that is like they believe they're so far above any sort of like oversight or law enforcement that they just don't give a shit.
And now I would think that as like a billionaire, like I could believe that as like someone who's like, I'm a billionaire, like I'm, this like laws, or like I'm above this, like I can get out of anything. I have enough money and all that stuff, where you would like slip up because you're a billionaire. But like, if you're a spy, I feel like that's a different category, where you have a higher standard of stuff. But I do believe that if you're just like, yeah, I'm rich, like rules don't apply to me. That I do believe that they would just go talk about.
Yeah, I mean, although it's kind of starting to feel like the like when they dropped the JFK documentation, because people that have been in the conspiracy stuff, it's already been kind of pieced together that, yeah, the U.S. government in collaboration with the Israelis and like one or two other groups,
maybe the mob, maybe the Cubans, maybe this, like.
Yeah, and then the files like literally confirmed that, and then everyone was just kind of like, okay. And like that's kind of like what's happening, what I feel like is happening here is it's like we've established that billionaires and the politicians and like all the uber wealthy are like, we're going to traffic and have sex with kids. And now we have all this evidence, and it's kind of like, well, what the fuck are we supposed to do with this? Right?
I mean, the thing is, from what I've seen, there's been no references to kids, like actual kids, because there's the whole, like the Pizzagate, and there's these like satanic pedophiles and the rituals. And you're like, that I've never seen anything, to be honest, that I'm like, oh, that's leads me down that path. Is like, this dude was just mostly hiring young escorts. I mean, I saw one thing where this girl wrote this whole thing. Essentially, this was from, I think, 2010. So this is very early on before this got any sort of traction, the Epstein stuff. And she was in Palm Beach, and she was like trying to be a model. And she's basically saying how they were lying to Jeffrey Epstein, saying that they were over 18 because he was like, had a point where he's like, I don't fucking deal with girls who are under 18. And now this could be a lie too, like who knows? But she was like, we have to get, like, this girl was like, you have to get a fake ID because like he doesn't want any girls who are under 18. Like he wanted girls who were 18, but, and again, maybe this was a lie to, save his ass, and who knows? But it seemed like the context of it was potentially like under oath, where she'd be committing a crime by lying. But again, people still do that. But like there was this whole thing where she was basically being like, yeah, he was the nicest guy, and he didn't like, he would hire us to give him massages, and it was $200, and we didn't have to do any sex stuff. And like, you could if you wanted to, and he would pay you more, but like he didn't like, he was not like propositioning anybody. Like it made it seem like, I wouldn't want to say innocent by any stretch of the imagination, but not like this picture that they paint of this guy. And this was from 2010, but I mean, who knows? There's so many different data points here. It's very hard to.
Yeah, no, it's just it's such an information overload, and like what we've been told over the years is like I can't make sense of like what I'm even really supposed to believe or follow at this point.
Which
like,
maybe is the point. I mean, again, like, look, there's certainly, if your goal was to tarnish people's reputations individually, like that was effective. I mean, it seems like there was a good chance that they were holding back a lot of this stuff because a lot of these like powerful people were like, yeah, you're going to ruin my reputation if this comes out. I'm not worried about any legal consequences, but you are going to kind of fuck up my reputation. And these guys are probably like big donors to politicians. They're friends with them. And that makes sense to me, that they were just like, hey, no need to do this.
The whole blackmail thing.
Yeah, but it's not even blackmail because it was, you know, like nobody's blackmailing like I don't think Bill Gates is getting maybe that letter, because the letter about Bill Gates was a letter that Jeffrey Epstein wrote to himself. It was a letter that was composed to Bill Gates, but then he then sent it to himself. Like either this was a record that he was maybe thinking about sending, or maybe he was maybe blowing off some steam. Probably, as I say it, it was probably one he had maybe prepared. Maybe that was blackmail. Really, the only thing there was like banging prostitutes and, you know, getting the clap from one. But, you know, his wife did divorce him over this shit specifically. So, and, you know, like Reid Hoffman and all these like billionaires who were just associated with him. I mean, I saw this thing about a dinner in Vancouver, like maybe 10 years ago. And it was, you know, Bezos is there. It was like a real who's who, like the, Larry Page, the guy who started Google, like all these people are there. And they're probably like, yeah, you know, this has probably caused me I didn't commit any crimes, but the association with him would not be helpful.
So one thing I stumbled across it was only one document. I don't know if you would have seen more about it, or if there is more about it, how there's an email, I don't know who he was sending it to, where Epstein directly mentioned Zoran Mondani's mom and like screening a film that she put on for something like years ago, which is kind of interesting, considering the position that Mondani is in now.
Yeah, I saw the photo.
I have no schizo link or anything there. I just thought it was odd, considering, you know, Mondani is considered this quote unquote nobody when his parents were very, very much interconnected. Apparently.
Yeah. I saw the Mondani photo. I'm pretty sure it was AI. I'm almost certain of it. I see there's some hits about Mondani, but so some of these are from 2025 for some reason. They're these like FBI like daily press briefings. Like I guess the FBI does a daily news briefing. It's not particularly classified. It's just like, hey, this is what's going on. He comes up here. Mamdani's mom is, right. Her last name's not Mamdani.
I can't remember her name. It's like
Mira
Nair something.
Oh yeah. So here we go. Yeah. Here's the first hit. This is to Peggy Siegel from Jeffrey Epstein. Just left Ghislaine's townhouse after party for a film. Bill Clinton and Jeff Bezos were there. Jean Pigozzi, director Mira Nair, etc. So, you know, this, again, he was like a socialite. This is like, in this reference this is just like an after party for, you know, her movie, which again is not anything. It's not like some smoking gun. Like, you're not like, oh, like instantly, like they're fucking trafficking kids. It's pretty normal New York shit, to be perfectly frank. Like, you know, like I know people who.
Yeah, it just seems like more, you know, the more and more that comes out, it's like who the fuck did this guy not know?
Yeah, that is like, true. You're just like, he was,
when it comes to being a power broker.
He was, as you know, the top, like when they talk about this stuff, like, yeah, he was the tops. Like, he was really fucking dialed in. Like, yeah, here's the thing. They wrote a letter in a 2011 independent filmmaker project. And it seems like a lot of the stuff was like, yo, we want some money for our thing. And you're the money guy who just seems to be raining money on people's random projects. And, you know, so they're just hitting them up. And probably 2011, I would imagine 2011, it was like, it wasn't some widespread known thing who he was or his his legal problems, any of that stuff. Like I'm sure in 2011 people were like, yeah, I didn't know that he was a registered sex offender.
Yeah, when was that? Was that conviction early 2000s?
2009, yeah, because he was talking about it with Bannon, where he was in when the great financial crash happened and Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns. He was like, I was in the shoe, like solitary confinement, essentially. So,
yeah, I think over the next few months or whatever, as people comb through the documents, there'll be more. But like I was talking to your producer, like it's just kind of like. There's so much shit. It's like, I don't know how, like, people are going to have to find some sort of system to, like...
Well, there's Jmail.
Like,
the best one that exists so far it's called jmail.word. Someone made this website. It's pretty cool. They basically take all of his emails, but it looks like you're in his Gmail. So you log in, and it looks like you're logged into Gmail, but it's...
That's wild.
Yeah, jmail.word. And it just looks like you're in his Gmail. Like literally, that's what it looks like. Is it just like looks like, and it's just all his fucking newsletters he gets. But I mean, like some of the people that he's like talking with, you're like, yeah, these are like some of the most powerful people in the world for sure. And he just knew everybody.
I did also see this. Literally just happened. Like 30, 40 minutes ago, that the Clintons have agreed to testify in relation to this. I mean,
I did see that.
I doubt they're going to say anything.
No, they're going to.
Yeah, they're just going to sit there and say, "I don't recall."
I don't recall. Plead the fifth, like all that stuff.
Yeah. It was a long time ago. Not sure.
I mean, I am not holding my breath that the Clintons are just going to all of a sudden, find a heart.
No, I mean like, those two. Those two are the original. Those are real gangsters. I mean, people wonder what a fucking gangster looks like. It's the Clintons, it's the Schumers, it's the Trumps to a certain degree. Like U.S. politicians are the cream of the crop, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. And but yeah, no, I don't think we're gonna get anything. I think they're testifying in 2 days from now.
Yeah, I was just. I glanced at it, which I thought that was interesting because they've been
fighting
it. Slick Willie in particular had been avoiding the topic completely.
I mean, I would if I was him too. You're like, that guy is probably, I mean, everybody at this point, you're like, the problem for him is you're like, everybody's already made up their mind about what he did. Like for the most part, like he's kind of, his best thing is just kind of stay out of the press because like everybody's like, yeah, you're literally a child rapist. If you ask probably most people in America, you're like, that guy's a child rapist at this point, just based on his ties to Epstein.
I mean, well, he's also a murderer, but
he's also a murderer. I mean, he obviously was what's his face when he was governor of Arkansas. He raped what's her face Juanita Broderick and I think others like. His whole thing is, the fact that he is even just allowed to be in society, but I guess that's the juice you get when you're the fucking ex-prez. Kind of our untouchable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a cool guy too, man. I mean, you hear him talk. I mean, like, come on.
He's got that southern drawl. Nah, you can't.
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah. All right, I gotta let you go. But thanks for calling in. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man.
Spencer, everybody. All right, we're going to take a couple more calls. I'm going to wrap this up. We're going to go to Matt and then Slav. Bingo, bango. That's how we're going to do this. Matt, are you there?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Dude, I've been watching this show for fucking, I don't know, 3-4 years.
Nice.
Whatever it was. So I got a quick question. First, I saw you at Skankfest. You were between Metzger and you brought up Holtzman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great set, by the way.
Thank you.
Love your comedy. What is the deal with Mike Rainey and his wife? Is that some weird cuck shit? Why did you bring up his wife?
I never seen that before. So
what is up with that?
I had never seen that before. We were just like in the green room kind of area. And then I think maybe because it was so late, like it was like, if I recall correctly, it was like 11:45 at that point. It was like some of the last
Yeah,
shows of the night. I don't know.
He got weird a little.
Yeah, it got weird. He like brought his wife up on stage.
So the next day he brought it up too. He brought it up like, oh, I'm so fat, love to fuck her. I'm like,
yeah, well, that's cool. Like on Twitter, he's always like that. He just talks about fucking his wife constantly.
Yeah,
the guy loves his wife, man. Is that a crime?
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
So anyway, I called last week when you were talking about the ice shit, the whole Omar thing, whatever the fuck. Did that look staged to you?
The shooting of Preddy?
No.
The nurse?
The fucking.
The vinegar?
The chick. The vinegar. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Staged.
That one seemed.
It looked weird, right?
Pretty. I mean, again, why would someone go up and spray her with vinegar?
Exactly. If they're not trying to cause more controversy in fucking Minnesota, you know what I mean? And then they looked up at all his shit, and he has a kid with blue hair and all that weird bullshit, whatever.
Yeah, I did that one. I didn't. Sketchy. That one seemed to kind of go away, kind of quickly. They just kind of swept that under the rug. I don't know what's happening with that guy, but that one did seem weird. You're like, this just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, but to stay on topic and to fucking give Slav a little bit of credit. So you know how there's this old dude, he's kind of like Gary Vee. He's always dressed in a suit. He's always like, "Hey, you want to be a billionaire? Just be a billionaire."
Dan Pena?
Probably, yes. The bald old guy.
Yeah.
So he was like, a couple months ago, he was like, if you knew who would own Bitcoin, you'd sell it right now.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that before. Yeah.
Epstein fucking Satoshi?
I saw some fake Epstein emails where he was basically.
I think it's fake too. Right.
No. I don't think the thing is anybody can go if you have any like questions about the Epstein Files. Like you can you go type in just Epstein Files, DOJ website, and there's a thing that just says search. And I know he references Bitcoin. I think he was shitting on Michael Saylor. There are. Oh, you know what? There's like 24 references to Satoshi, but I think a lot of them are
they could be false.
No. These are real emails, but they're just like he would get a lot of people would just like send him links. They go like like you have like how my mom sends me shit. It'll just be like, check this out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so I mean, here's something from Joichi Ito and it says the world's first Nile currency, a completely valueless currency. And they'll just be like blogs but there are references to Satoshi in here. Jeremy Rubin says that he's CC'd on this. Like, yeah, there's Quora. Like he has like tons of just like, those Quora fucking spam emails you get, lots of that. And there's just like lots of articles about Bitcoin, but nothing specific.
Nothing to like bite on.
No, nothing with meat on the bone.
Awesome. Well, last question. How's Chris doing? Haven't heard from him in a while.
I think Chris called in. Chris called in a few weeks ago, I believe. Yeah, he's doing well.
Like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Yeah,
I think so.
Silver.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good. I hung out with him when in Dallas, and he's coming to my show in one of the shows in Fort Worth in March, and we're going to see him again, have a drink, and hopefully he's not going to be as high because I didn't even know he was high, but afterwards he was like I was pretty high.
Well, that's kind of how it works when you're on shit like that.
I know.
Keeps you level.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like, but it was good.
Yeah, but anyway, I just want to call in and tell you I really appreciate comedy. How many subscribers are you away from low value mail?
For the bathhouse? No, low value mail. I'm not canceling. This is
the bathhouse. That's right.
Bathhouse.
So you needed 200.
A lot. I'm at like 33. I'm gonna give it a couple more weeks.
What's that? So 170.
170 roughly. I'm sure if I get close to it, I would.
I'll give you $500 to keep it going.
You'll give me $500 to keep it going. I don't.
Wait, is it a month?
No. It's not a month. Well, no. The thing is, it's $3 a month. But I see that's the problem. It's only $3 a month, so it would be $500.
I'll spread the word.
Yeah, just spread the word. The best thing you could do, honestly, the best thing you could do is tell people to just go watch it. Just
Dude,
go
okay. So
for
that's
people who have never
actually what
heard
I've
of
been
it.
trying to find. Do you remember when Rubestar called in and he was telling that story about how he was texting a girl and he thought it was the girl that he was talking to, but it ended up being the line cook. And he goes, "I'm going to shove my dick so far down your throat," and then that girl didn't come into work.
Right? Yeah, that was a while ago. That must have been a year or two
you
ago.
need to post that. You need to clip that story.
I think I did
that story because that story was so goddamn. All right, then
I'll see if I can.
repost
I'll
it.
see if
That
I
was
can
so
find
god-
it. I'll have to go look
If
through
you
the
can,
archives.
I will share it with everybody I can find. Dude, I've been looking for that episode. I know it was somewhere around like, unless I was like backdating, but I saw it in June or July of 2023. So it could have been as far as April.
Possibly.
But I know it was somewhere around there. Fucking
Yeah.
hilarious.
So you know what? I'll see if I can go search for Rubestar and maybe it'll pull up all his calls because there's
That's
this.
what I do. Dude, I've been doing that.
Yeah, because there's a website where you can
but I'll
search
keep-
from timestamps, and you
well,
can
even
search.
on the podcast, if you go on the podcast, the Apple Podcast, you can go into the AI transcribe, and then you can just put up, Rubestar, and it pops up whenever he calls in because he calls in every goddamn week, so you got to go through every fucking episode.
I know it's a lot of calls.
So I've gone through like 8 or 9. I'll go through the rest.
I'll
but
see if I
you
can find it.
That would be great.
I'll do my best.
Yeah. Anyway.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
Thanks, buddy.
I'll let you go, but I love the show.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling in. Okay, last call of the evening. Saving the best or the worst for last, depending on who you speak to. Slav, what is happening?
Hey, dude, that was the funniest thing in that interview with Steve Bannon.
Yeah.
Was it was in the middle. It was like at an hour and 2 seconds. I mean, an hour and 2 minutes.
Yeah.
There were like all their phones going off, and there was just like a little break in the air, and Steve Bannon was making jokes, and he said he said something to the effect of like, "Oh man, that would like be real black humor."
Yeah, I
And
know.
he meant it as dark humor. And
Dark
then
humor.
Jeff was like, "Oh no, I don't make jokes. I don't make jokes."
I know he was like he's like, my image is so fucked right now. He's like, we're not even going there. And then he said the thing where he's like, yeah, I don't believe in, like in IQ and like differences, because he's like, there's different types of intelligence. Like he's like, if you put me in sub-Saharan Africa, like I would probably get eaten by an animal and they would be fine. So he's like, there's different types of intelligence.
If he got put into sub-Saharan, I mean, he's clearly been there quite a bit. But no,
Dude, I saw a bunch of his emails where he's like, yeah, I'm just getting back from Africa. That guy loved Africa.
Well, I mean, it's very easy to, like, you basically set up foundations. Be like, oh, we're going to help all these, all these, what is it? What's y'all's fucking yid word for these?
Schwarzes?
I mean, Schwarzes, but y'all do a little more biblical one. These Hamishes or whatever the fuck.
I don't know.
Yeah, but and his whole thing of like we're gonna replace math with like emotional, psychoanalytical healing math type
So
shit.
a lot of it was kind of nonsense.
I mean, hey, guess what? You're gonna have about like 16 more hours to sit through. I mean,
I hope
saw
so.
The 15-minute interview. Yeah.
Do you know
that's
where
maybe
that
on
came
the-
from? Do you know where the...
What do you mean?
Like, because I just randomly saw it. People were posting it on Twitter. And then, like, did it come from the DOJ website initially? Like, where did that video come from?
So I mean, I don't know, but I remember in 2019. So there is this YouTube channel called Elon Bust,
Okay.
and the guy, he's like he like does. At the time, he did like niche Cunktown compilations.
Okay.
But he has like his best one is like a 4-hour compilation of Nick ranting about like child abuse structures in Hollywood and all that shit. But he uploaded one where it was Jeffrey with like a bit of a short beard, and he had like a 15-minute one where he was just like talking about like, oh yeah, the future is female type shit.
Huh. Yeah,
and
no.
like every
I'm so curious where these videos came from, like where they originated, like where, because
they were up.
But were they from the
before, and then
DOJ's?
got taken down.
Oh, yeah. Because like Bannon, like everybody's been talking about this Bannon videos that he's had forever. And like it was just kind of felt like we were never going to get it. Or I've heard some theories where like Bannon's going to release it at the right time or whatever. But Bannon seems to not really want to talk about it. And then just boom, one of them shows up.
Yeah. Well, I tuned in late, but I caught your apologia for it. So, so one of those things is one I don't expect, like, nobody's really expecting arrest, but what I do expect from this is a full, like, at least I'm hoping for it, like, nationwide change in behavior in regards to you people.
Yeah.
So
specifically what?
Robbie Bernstein had a stream, and I was like, hey, you went to yeshiva. Like, what's y'all's insistence upon constantly using, goy and goyim?
Wait. Are you taking umbrage to a slur? Because you love slurs, Slav.
Well, see, here's the thing.
I am aghast right now. The slur guy all of a sudden found the slur he doesn't like?
Hey.
Interesting. Wow. Wow.
It is the way it is invoked. It is the way it is invoked. See, you got to have decorum when invoking such words.
Oh, decorum. Oh, okay. Let's hear it. Let's hear Mr. Decorum over here.
Yeah, no. So what I am expecting, and I'm going to flush this out, is that people just stop doing business with the Jew.
Sure.
Like, people just...
it's a free country. You don't have to do business with anybody you don't want to.
So, how there is now, how you were saying, people don't, like, men don't care about being called racist and all this.
Yeah.
The next step is, they're like, well, we don't care if you call us anti-Semitic. And they're like...
But you sound like you care if we call you a goy.
No. We understand what you guys mean by it, and the only kind thing to do is, well, we just don't want to associate with you.
Sure.
If you're gonna do this.
Do what?
And it is the polite option. It's the polite and moderate option to exclude you from goy activity.
Such as?
Everything.
Everything's a goy activity?
Just being in our presence, using our money.
Your money? It's our money.
Well, yeah, if you'd stop clipping it. Yeah, we're just gonna do a thing where y'all can't clip it. I mean,
you ever heard of fractional reserve banking?
Hey, this is what Epstein even talked about. He's saying, well, we tried alchemy, and then we realized we can't make gold. We can't, spin, gold out of hay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we learned why we can't. But then we took it upon ourselves to make it a reality.
Sure.
With manipulation. Right. So we just want to just exclude you guys from society. And it's the same way I feel about immigration. People are like, well, if you suddenly kick them all out all at once, we're going to take a very hard hit on our economy and in everyday life. And I'm like, that's fine. I will personally, I can bear the brunt of, I don't care how long it takes, but if we can go back to let's say 1963 America.
Now what if those pre-1963 people are like, I also want you out, Slav. We don't want any of this new stock nonsense. We want the old stock.
Well, no, that's
would you go home for the cause?
No. If you read the Hart-Celler Act, do you know what that is? It's the Immigration Act of 1963.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's two Jews, but they allowed easy immigration from Europe.
Okay.
And this also included Russia. Well, at the time.
So you're kind of closing the door behind you is what you're doing.
No, I'm holding up a paint card on a gradient.
But what if I'm saying? What if they're like, we want to be even stricter about this paint card thing? We don't want Slavs.
I am literally calling Gestapo on the. Hey, I was promised ice cream Gestapo gelato. I'm gonna be like that Soviet poster of the bitch talking to the Soviet border guards, pointing out. Seen that propaganda poster? Yeah, but it's gonna be your ass.
But what if it goes one more level extremer than you, and they go, "Yeah, you got to go too," though. What I'm asking is, if it would be for the cause, would you accept that?
No, I got. What the fuck am I supposed to do with all this ammunition, dude?
And you can take it back to that shithole country of Russia, and you can see what you can do with it there.
Yeah, see how you can't even claim allegiance to anything.
What do you mean?
You can go back to Canada.
I mean, if that was the will,
okay, stop. Okay, so
if that's what it happened, then that's what it would shake out.
I see how you're detracting.
I'm not detracting. I'm just asking questions.
No. I mean, the whole thing is about the ritualistic sacrifice and abuse of children, which
is yet to be any.
What are you talking about?
Like in the Epstein Files?
Yeah, in the Epstein Files. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very common amongst you people. I mean, Danny, I understand it's tough for you having been molested like a week after you were born.
Yeah.
Because of a bris. That's actual molestation. And you're technically a homosexual because of that. And the only way to end the cycle of, because, hurt people. So, I know you're trying to hold back from molesting, other boys by having, your beard of a wife. But no, for real. Like, so what is going to have to happen is people will be like, well, fine. Where people are going to have to be like, we don't want to do business with the Jew.
But you don't have to.
Because No, but that's the implication. It's like,
you currently don't have to.
But if the Holocaust Museum comes to you asking for a donation and you refuse, they're going to spread it all into the papers.
That's not true.
So we have to make
you think every person who declines donating to the Holocaust Museum gets
Why have
outed?
you never heard about it? Why have you?
I've never donated to the Holocaust. I've never given them a red cent.
No. Why have you never heard of anyone declining to donate?
Because they don't make a thing out of it.
No, because they don't want a thing made out of it.
You think nobody's ever in the history of ever declined donating money to the Holocaust Museum?
Where are they? That they haven't been able to continue business.
What?
Yeah, it's a very see. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You guys have you goblins have such a system that it's like we want to stop doing business with you guys.
So stop.
And we're like and then you pressure everyone else. That's the thing. Some people just can't weather the storm. And we're going to have to muster up enough Gentile energy and just bravado in our hearts to be like, we can handle this loss for a bit. And get y'all to leave. And y'all guys can go find another, fuck finding another planet. Go find another fucking galaxy. Like, but seriously, but for real, how in the files they talk about how they use the word goyim, it is actually a problem, and the fact that like
so you're offended, you're offended by it.
No, I don't care about it being offended. It's literally that this is exactly why we don't want to deal with you people, and this is exactly why you've been asked to leave. It's literally the whole thing, like that whole Robert Kraft's stop hate thing. It's like, what would you do if you saw a Jew kicked? It's like, my first thing would be like, why did he get kicked? Why is the Jew being hurt? Like, my whole thing is never like, oh, stop hurting that person. It's like, why are you hurting them?
What did they do to deserve it? What are they wearing?
Yeah. yeah, absolutely. We're going to be victim blaming, just like how you guys like to do as well. But we just want to stop. Like, nothing's going to happen with this shit at all.
No.
But we just, but in the files, you know who the favorite comedian of Epstein is that's been referenced in personal emails?
Chris Rock, Louis C.K.?
No. He's a New York guy.
Seinfeld?
He talks a lot about these people. One of his big topics he likes to talk about.
These people, who? I mean, his best friend, and it's Bobby Slayton, the pit bull. Go look at
Tim Dillon.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Tim Dillon Epstein is a big fan of Tim Dillon. If you type his name into the library thing.
No way. Good
like,
for Tim.
Dude, imagine being the most public kid fucker and like blackmailer, and this fat supposed homosexual is ranting and raving into the microphone about you.
Well, I can tell you, go look up Tim Dillon.
Dude, I've searched
There's only five entries of Tim Dillon. Dude, there's 2,500 entries for Bobby Slayton. 2,500.
Yeah, I don't know who the fuck that is.
He's the pit bull of comedy. They were fucking boys, man. And he's gone dark the last 2 years. No, all the Tim Dillon stuff is just a screenshot of a podcast. This is him and Whitney Webb.
There's one. I saw one where he was saying like, no, he's my favorite.
The Tim Dillon is. So I saw that he said that. No, these are all screenshots from like Instagram of like stuff. No, he said that, I think he said that either Louis C.K. or Chris Rock was his favorite. No, there's nothing here that said. These are all screenshots of just like thumbnails. Oh, Ian Carroll's in here. Interesting. When is this from? Oh, this is from 2020. This is from 2025.
2025. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that's.
So how would it have been his favorite if he was dead for 6 years?
I mean, I typed in Nick Fuentes for fun. There's only one thing, and it's in 2025. I mean,
these are all from. Yeah. No, I don't think he knew who Tim Dillon was. Because that's the thing. Tim Dillon wasn't famous in 2019. So that doesn't check out.
What do you mean? Yeah, he was. Yeah,
Tim Dillon was. He wasn't like famous. He was like, when was his first appearance on Rogan?
Well, I guess it's just I guess it's all relative because I've only been like a New York comedy fan.
Yeah, no, he was big. February 21st, 2019 was his first appearance, but he was he incarcerated? I don't know if he was incarcerated at that point. I don't think he was, but I don't think he was a huge fan. All right, I gotta let you go. Thanks, Slav. Slav, everybody. We are all stupider for having listened to that, but still, I like it. I don't know why. All right, that's the show. William Miller U1C says, "Got to tap that Fuentes Groiper market. Send Slav. Go Slav. Go tell your Groiper friends." But otherwise, that has been the show. Thank you for joining me tonight. Shout out to the artist formerly known as Vince. Been a member for 24 months. You too could become a member if you join the channel or sign up for the Patreon, patreon.com/low-value-mail, MAIL, and leave a voicemail. If you want me to talk about, I'm going to try this new Patreon thing next week. You can call the number anytime, 24/7, 365 days of the year, 1-888-949-2969. Leave a voicemail. If you're too nervous to call in, whatever. And if you need advice, questions, anything, I will field them on the Patreon. And maybe you'll be lucky. You'll be featured on the Patreon. So do that and go sign up for the Patreon, patreon.com/low-value-mail. And if you want to save the bathhouse, there's a new episode tomorrow night. Sign up, become a Save the Bathhouse tier member. It's $2.99, and you will save the bathhouse. Otherwise, the bathhouse will be done in a couple of weeks. Otherwise, that's been the show. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for all of you for calling in, all of you super chatters, and our lovely producer Gerard. Couldn't have done it without him. Jeffrey Epstein lives, everybody. Jeffrey Epstein lives. Have a lovely night.
I'm really a poet, you know it, all my shit heroic. Empathic abilities, yeah, my face be also stoic. Bleep, blow up, nigga, that just means I'm working. They see me as a leader, so that's why I'm Captain Kirkin. These tracks from the stars, that much is for certain. You can fit this hit if you up or if you hurt. I'm raising my stock, not talking my feet in some Birkin. Number Johnny 5, got a fucking short circuit. Bring the track to life when I spit phenomenal. When I hit, she feel that shit in her abdominals. These rappers make me laugh like comic view, they comical. You know I got a ball out, I hit the track running just like Sonic do. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, they was trying to get me on my hype shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, and they tried to down me up some KO type shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, now we pulling up fresh on some flight shit. Ha. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, they was trying to get me on my hype shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, then they tried to down me up some KO type shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, now I'm pulling up fresh on some flight shit. Ha.